You are Himanshu Gupta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is your basic qualification? What have you done?
Sir, I have done B.Tech in electrical engineering.
Good. From where?
Sir, from Delhi Technological University.
Okay. Okay. And you worked somewhere after that, or you straight away wrote the civil service?
Yes, sir. I did work for around 1.5 years at Qualcomm India Private Limited. It is a smartphone processor manufacturer.
Okay. What was your job out there?
Sir, I was in the design team. So my job was the integration of various components in a single chipset. So we used to
Technical job, basically, very technical, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you were heading a team or something, managing a team?
No, sir, I wasn't head, I was just part of the team.
Part of the team?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So you decided to write for civil services when you were doing engineering or after joining the job?
Sir, actually I had got the opportunity to work as an intern first in the company. So I was in my 3rd year at that time.
Okay.
And after my internship, I got an inclination that I have to work for civil services.
Very good.
So then I decided to prepare for civil services.
Okay. Okay. So, what really interested you in the civil services? What do you think is a career in the civil services and why you are interested rather than going for engineering?
Sir, I think it is a good opportunity for an exposure to a variety of experience and also a good satisfactory quality of life as well. So I think this is a good thing which I think throughout my career I would like to have.
Okay. What are your service preferences you are given?
So my first preference is the Indian Foreign Service.
Okay.
Then is the Indian Administrative Service.
Okay.
Then the Indian Police Service.
Right.
Then Indian Revenue Service, Income Tax.
Right.
Then Indian Revenue Service, Customs and Excise.
Okay. Right. Okay. And this is very interesting. Why have you opted for foreign service as your first preference?
So majorly when I had started for preparing, so I had foreign service in my mind.
Okay.
This is because I thought that it is a unique job in itself because it offers a good opportunity for a global exposure as well as an opportunity to represent my own country at the global level. So that
It's an honor to represent your country, that is true. Yes.
Sir.
Yes. But you are aware of the kind of job that is involved in the foreign service and all.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, very nice. Have you read something about foreign policy, international relations and all these subjects? Have you been?
Yes, sir. I have.
What was your optional in these?
So my optional was philosophy.
Philosophy, that's
Yes,
interesting.
But I have read international relations as part of the general studies subject as well.
Okay, okay. So, what would you say about India's foreign policy in relation to the neighbors, China, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh? Any views on that, what we are doing and what we could do?
Sir, in the recent past, I think we have been more proactive in our neighborhood. We have also started the neighborhood first policy. So we regard that India should become a good power in its neighborhood and region first to become a global power at the later point of time.
Right.
So we have been trying to maintain good relations with our neighbor, all our neighbors.
Right. This bilateral trade agreements, you are in favor of these bilateral trade agreements? Do you think we should go in for bilateral trade agreements? Like we walked on the RCEP.
Yes, sir.
We didn't go in for that. What is your view on that? We should have gone or no?
Sir, I think at that point of time, since negotiations were going on, and so I don't think we should have gone for RCEP. It was a good decision that we opted out because we had our own concerns regarding our own domestic industry. And also there were some concerns which India had highlighted, like the auto trigger mechanism, which was the mechanism which was an auto trigger for an import surge.
Right.
Suppose an import surge happens, so we wanted that it should be an automatic trigger that India could impose some duties to protect our domestic industries. As far as overall bilateral treaties are concerned, I think it should be evaluated on the basis on the case basis, on the merit of the case. Yes, sir.
But some people say that if we don't go for these trade agreements, then our exports also will not rise. So we cannot become a $5 trillion economy if we don't go for exports also. And these agreements will help. Because WTO, I don't think is very strong at the moment now. What do you say?
Yes, sir. It is true that it may be possible that our exports would not rise, but it is equally possible that we would have an import surge in our own country. Because having a bilateral trade agreement would involve a give and take for both India and the other country which is in the treatment.
So you think our domestic industry is not strong enough to stand the pressure of imports?
So presently we do not have the export competitiveness as compared to other major powers like China or even right now Bangladesh and Vietnam are also picking up in their labor intensive sectors like textiles. So we should make our domestic industry competitive enough first, and then we should try to get into a bilateral trade agreement.
You are advocating some kind of a balance basically between the two objectives. Yes. Okay. Right. That seems to be a good view, I think. Okay. So if you get the foreign service, which language would you opt for? Any idea? Any region that you are interested in being posted to?
Sir, I have Spanish in my mind.
Okay.
Because I think one region where India is lacking in its engagement is the Latin America and the South America countries, and there mostly Spanish is spoken. I think taking Spanish, and if I get an opportunity to go at that place, that would be better.
Okay. So, do you read also? You have fun reading books?
Yes, sir. I do read some books when I get the time apart from the profession.
Any book which you like a lot or which has influenced you or which you feel has been a good read?
Sir, recently I read a book that is The Difficulty of Being Good by Gandhian. So that was a good take on how the Mahabharata is related to the ethical aspect of our life. So that was a good book.
Yes, yes. But do you think there's always a conflict whether one should do this or that? What is being good means? Is the dharma or code of conduct very clear in life, or it depends upon the situation? What do you feel?
Sir, I think that is the crux of Mahabharata. That every dharma or everything has to be evaluated based on the context and situation. It says desh, kal and patra, like space, time and the context.
Right.
Everything should determine what our duty, what our dharma should be. So it, for example, speaking the truth also depends on the situation. So I think that is situation-based ethics I would follow.
Right. So do you think ethics are important in civil service also?
Yes, sir, definitely. Not even in civil services, every aspect of one's life
should be the guiding factor.
Yes, sir.
That's very nice.
You started the first step in your career with India as your first interview.
Yes, sir.
And then you went to do BTech, and finally you now write in the civil services. And you have taken 3 attempts for civil services, and was philosophy your subject all through?
Yes, sir. Philosophy was my subject.
So how was your marks? Do you get to know your marks in the civil services?
Sir, it was the first time that I got the opportunity to write the mains exam.
Okay.
So this was the only time that I wrote philosophy as a
Okay, so this is the first attempt you are writing your main exam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So previously you could not clear the prelims?
Yes, sir. Previously I could not.
So how has been your preparation now for the civil service? You think you've done fairly well in your general studies and written papers?
So I think I have done fairly, because in the previous attempts I was still doing my job. So at that time I could not do justice to any of them, either the preparation or the job. So when I left the job, I engaged in the preparation full time. So I think I have done pretty well.
Okay. So you've been a resident of New Delhi for some time.
Yes, sir.
You aware of the air quality index of New Delhi or Delhi, NCR both?
Yes, sir.
Hovering from hazardous to very poor and not going below. What do you think are the main reasons for this poor quality of, and if you were to be posted as a civil servant in Delhi, what would be your preferences and choices of doing with the environment a favor?
So the reasons for air pollution in Delhi are both geographical as well as human induced, because there are reasons like the vehicular emissions and the stubble burning around the regions, but there are geographical reasons as well, because Delhi is located at a funnel point between, like it is surrounded by the Himalayas from the north, and below also there are Vindhyas and Aravallis, and moreover the winds like western disturbances also pass through the region of Delhi itself. So it is inflection point overall, and I think that is why air pollution is severely there in the Delhi region. And regarding the solutions, I think it should be a multi-pronged strategy, because there should be short-term and long-term measures, and it should also come as like the solution should come from everyone, from the individual to the authorities. So I think
how to tackle the problem of other states, like stubble burning, you said. How
Yes,
do you tackle from Delhi the problems occurring in Punjab or Haryana?
So I think it is about the better cooperation with other states, and also if there are some measures such that those stubbles from farmers could be procured and could be used, suppose in waste to energy plants or anything. I think that would incentivize the farmers to not to burn the stubble at the farm itself.
You have a number of friends.
Yes, sir.
You have friends,
Yes, sir.
and have any one of them told you about any weakness in you as a personality, or you've been sounded which you think you do not have, but your friends feel that you have certain weakness? And did you ever try to ponder over it and try and overcome some of it? Are you aware of it? Any of your weakness?
Sir, I think there is one that most of my friends say that I am too modest about myself.
Okay.
So,
And you think it's a bad quality? Being
generally,
honest?
sir, I think because so I can give you the example of my
Okay.
civil services exam itself.
Yeah.
Because after I had done my mains, I thought that I should have done more better. So I thought I would not be able to qualify the mains. So I had told every one of my friends as well that I am preparing for the next attempt as well. But since now I cleared this exam, so my friends also told me that you under evaluate yourself. So that creates a kind of a trust
Deficit.
problem. So I think that is a thing that I should also work on, that I should evaluate myself based on some objective things as well.
So you've done some analysis about this and come out with some solutions.
Yes, sir, I did, because I think this problem has been there since a long time, and I have been trying to see that what exactly I did based on an objective criteria and based on what other people also are doing. So since these are all competitive exams, so I should evaluate myself relative to others as well. So I think that is how I am doing it, to analyze based on some objective things rather than overall feeling that I had done better or worse.
Okay. You are aware of the CDS that the government has created, post in the armed forces.
Yes, sir.
You think this will lead to military reforms, and why was it necessary in the first instance? Are you aware of it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
So majorly after the Kargil war, only there was a Kargil review committee set up, and that had highlighted that we had some issues with respect to our coordination between Army, Navy, and Air Force and other defense activities. So I think for a good jointness in the operations, a civil chief of defense staff was necessary, and moreover, the present form of warfare which can happen would also happen in a different form. For example, a hybrid. People say that a hybrid kind of warfare would also happen. So it requires a good jointness in the operation as well as a single point advisor to the civilian government as well. So,
But don't you think that the serious increase from the army would support the army more than the navy and the air force? So would that mean that the navy and air force suffer?
sir, I think it matters more on the personal aspect, and since the CTS who is chosen is he should go apart from his own service loyalty, because even the present CTS has his own uniform, has his own insignia, and so I think it all matters on the person who is on his duty, and he should see everything as an objectively. Then I think that should work out.
Thank you. Yeah.
Mr. Himanshu, and shift the focus to the Indian economy. India aspires to be a 5 trillion economy. So, as a civil servant, what would you decide to focus upon to have this direction achieved, like to move in this positive direction in your area or in your sphere of activity in the civil services? What are the few focus areas that you would concentrate on?
I think as a civil servant, there should be reforms in the whole governance process so that everything comes at a quicker stage. Like every process generally takes time. For example, the private sector, if it has to set up an industry or grow a business, it takes a lot of difficulties because of the regulatory measures. I think regulations should be there, but they should be quickened, and they should be an efficient way so that there is an ease of doing business. Secondly, I think the technology can help. Use of technology is there in every sphere of our lives right now, and I think if India focuses on technology more, so we can improve our own products, our own manufacturing. So I think technology would be a important parameter.
Okay. There's been in the economic survey, there's been a lot of talk about wealth creation.
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you think this is important for the economy?
Ma'am, wealth creation is the major aspect of improving our own economy. So wealth is something which comes when every industry focuses on improving their own business and improving their profits. For example, the wealth creation in economic survey comes in the context that previously we used to divide our resources, whatever we had, into and distribute it to them. But now we are focusing on increasing the amount of resources so that they can be distributed more efficiently. So that requires wealth. So that is why wealth creation is required.
Okay, so you're saying wealth is required for distribution of
Yes.
resources,
Yes.
leading to
Ma'am, it would lead to better equitable growth and inclusive growth in our society.
the fund flows from the center to the state. Which authority decides on this fund flow? I mean, the maximum fund flow from center to state in terms of sharing taxes, and on which authorities
Ma'am, it is the Finance Commission.
And why is it that this year the Finance Commission has, the devolution is only 41% to states as compared to the previous Finance Commission, which was 42%?
Ma'am, actually the major reason was the changes in the our Jammu Kashmir, because we had changed the status of Jammu and Kashmir as a state to union territories. So because of that adjustments, we decreased the share of net proceeds of taxes in the central pool from 42 to 40%.
How do you think the coronavirus will impact the Indian economy?
Ma'am, we have a lot of linkages with China in terms of trade, and since our the whole transport and trade have been stopped due to the coronavirus in China, so there has been a direct impact of the reduced amount of trade. Moreover, the investor sentiments have also reduced globally because of the coronavirus that is spreading, that has actually spread to more than 28 countries right now. So it might impact our Indian stocks and the overall investor confidence. Thirdly, ma'am, the tourism industry has also been hampered. There is a chance of getting hampered because of spread of the coronavirus. There is a fear that it might spread into India as well. So I think those are the reasons that Indian economy might face.
Himanshu,
Yes,
you've talked about protectionism when it comes to RCEP, and you've talked about wealth creation. Are these two contradictory?
sir, I think there should be a balance because we should improve our wealth, but not at the cost of subjugating our own domestic manufacturers or industry, because we should create some amount of wealth in our domestic industry so that they can thrive themselves. If we engage more and more in the free trade agreements which are not of our own interests, which might be more focused on imports, but for example, our service exports or our own, we should also require a similar amount of market access in the other countries as well. Trade should go both in the positive as well as in the negative direction. I mean to say that trade should it should be both exports and imports. There should be a balance of trade. Then only we can go into the RCEP or anything.
No, I'm talking more in reference to wealth creation.
Yes, sir.
The book that you just mentioned, the writer that you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
is a big advocate of wealth creation and spilling it over. Unless until there is competition, how else do you think we can improve our efficiency?
So I agree that we should improve our competitiveness, and because if we engage more in these kind of outer engagements, it is possible that competition would increase and it would improve our efficiency. There have been many economists who have said that we should engage more, we should have opted in for RCEP as well. But I think when we talk about wealth creation, it should also be about our domestic industry, which should be capable enough to fight the major big players in the economy. For example, China was a major part in the RCEP, and if we had opted in for RCEP, it would have led to a huge import surge in China. And we have seen that China has been engaging in some non-tariff barriers for India as well. So when China does not allow Indian exports but dumps its own exports to India, so that might be not be good for our interests. So I think it should be a well balanced. If we have we have not closed the doors for RCEP right now, because there is a point of time that it might be possible that India gets into RCEP in future when it takes care of our concerns.
other than ahimsa, what do you think is the relevance of Gandhi in today's time?
Sir, I think Gandhiji was, he has given many other things which I think which is relevant in today's time. For example, his Gandhiji's talisman is there in every NCRT book that we read, and it always talks about that any action we should do, we should always keep in mind that the most downtrodden section, or most the least advantaged person, if we can think of, it would help or him or more. This was also relevant in the context of RCEP, when our Prime Minister also quoted Gandhiji's talisman and said that we have opted out from RCEP because we have used the Gandhiji's talisman, and we want to protect our domestic industries which are at the nascent stage at present time. So I think Gandhiji's concepts of his talisman.
Have you read him other than NCRT? Have you read any work of Gandhiji other than NCRT?
Sir, I have not read his direct work.
Tell me one more thing. Give me 3 qualities that you feel that an IAS officer should have.
Sir, I think one is the quality of patience, because it requires that our actions generally take some time to generate the outputs. So we require that there should be a patience when we do some action. It should it would take some time to bring out its results and outcomes. Second thing is about openness and tolerance, because we should be open to other ideas and other aspects which many people can bring into our thinking. So without any biasness, without any attitude, I think there should be a tolerant character or an open character to new cultures and ideas. And third thing is about the compassion, which, like the other vulnerable sections or any people, should have a good amount of empathy and compassion for the people who are downtrodden and should be helped through the government.
Okay. What has been what do you think about India's record in tackling epidemics?
Sir,
as a country, as a system, as a nation?
Sir, I think epidemics, we have been able to contain epidemics quite much, because recently there have been many surges in epidemics, like the Ebola virus, or the H1N1 flu, or the present coronavirus. So these epidemics we have been able to contain, and there have not been so much of deaths, or so many patients that have been diagnosed with these epidemics.
Okay, my last question would be, how much would you agree to China's way of tackling coronavirus, and considering that had it been in India, could we have tackled it any differently? We've offered them help.
Yes, sir.
In tackling this disease. Your views on that?
Sir, I think the initial actions of China were not good, not right, because as the initially when the SARS virus also came, China tried to conceal these facts, and even in the novel coronavirus case also, the initial response was that China did not openly come out about the cases and did not inform to the WHO or international organizations about the novel coronavirus. But at the later stage, I think China did realize that this can be a global epidemic, and it has tried to contain it, and it has also given openly the international health institutes also, it has given the opportunity to study it and come out with some vaccinations for the coronavirus. And regarding the handling also, in China itself, it has locked down the whole city of Wuhan, and it had also built a 1,000-bed hospital in just 10 days. That was also appreciable. So,
No, do you think India could have handled it differently had it been in our country?
Sir,
Or it would have been worse?
sir, I think India could have handled it differently because in the initial stage, China was not so much transparent. If we had been much, we should have been. If the coronavirus had come to India, we should have been much quicker, and we should have been more open to the global organizations and even our own authorities also. So I think China handled it well in the later stage, but not in the initial stage. And as India, we could have handled it much earlier, and we should have done it more better.
Himanshu, what is Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, and do you think it had any relation with internal security of India?
So the Citizenship Amendment Act majorly has two provisions. The first provision is about granting the relaxation for the citizenship naturalization to people, religious persecuted minorities from countries from Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh. And the second provision is about the OCIs, overseas citizens of India, who have been granted, who like they are now, their status of OCI can be revoked if they do any offense or crime in India. So these are the two provisions which in the Citizenship Amendment Act. And regarding the impact on internal security, I think when the act was implemented, there were many protests around all over India. I think their consensus should have been taken, and much more discussion could have been done. So to avoid these kind of protests.
What is your view? If it was required or it was not required in current situation in India, where we need some major steps to protect our internal security, to bring harmony in our society, do you think that it was required in present situation, this kind of act or this kind of initiative taken by the government?
Sir, I think the intent of the act was right, because there have been many people who were there in India and who did not have the access to basic necessities in life. So granting them citizenship was a good step, but the handling of the situations and the way it was implemented, because there were issues when people did not have information about the act. There have been many issues about lack of awareness about the act itself. So I think if there had been a much better public awareness about the act that was to come, I think it should have been handled better.
Means you are saying that government should convey more information to people about this. What do you think that was a major threat to our internal security in current contemporary in current situation? What is the major threat? And when you will be the part of the system, what you will suggest as a policy maker, part of the policy making, what steps should be taken in first stage to avoid these kind of circumstances? Because before taking steps for resolving the problem, first to protect and to stop nuisance, to stop rumors. Do you think that the main problem is not the act, the main problem is the misinformation is being conveyed by different sections or different types of interest groups? what will be your view and what will be your initiative whenever you will be part of the system?
So firstly, about the major threats to the internal security, I think one major threat presently is the extremism in our country, that is majorly in the form of the Naxalism that is there in our country. The second threat is about the separatist tendencies in the northeast regions. For example, the Naga movement or the Ulfa cadres. So I think they are a threat to our internal security. The third is the regions of the border areas where there have been, especially with respect to Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir, there have been many state-sponsored terrorist activities which have hampered our own internal security. As far as about the protest of against the CAA and RCEP are concerned, I think they can be handled pretty well because major reason for these protests were the lack of awareness. So if the people should have been clearly told about the act, what it does, because many people don't think that it is a threat to a particular community and it is extracting the citizenship from them, but it is not so, because the act is bestowing citizenship to other communities. I think good initiative would be to bring out FAQ kind of a document and distribute it to the public or any other forms, so that public would be more aware about the act.
What is the difference between code of conduct and code of ethics? And what is more important?
So, code of conduct is an objective document which tells about the different rules or procedures which should be used in the conduct of a government servant or any person on which it is applicable to. But the code of ethics generally is a document which tells about the values or the qualities which the person should uphold. So I think about the importance, code of ethics is more important, but code of conduct is also there, which guides, which is actually based on the code of ethics. Because any code of conduct is anyways there when there is a code of ethics. We have certain values and objectivity, integrity, and based on those values only the code of conduct can be built on. So regarding the importance, I would say code of ethics is more.
What is ethics? And we talk about ethical values. It is, I think, of individualistic nature somewhere. In your case, what is your ethics and how you compare your personal ethics with professional ethics? Because initially I'm going through development and initially you were interested in defense forces and you appeared in combined defense services and NDA exams. After that you came in the field of technical education and completed your engineering, and then after doing 2-year, 3-year job you switch over to this. Means you are regularly, there is a tendency to switching over then what is the actual position? What is the actual place for you? What do you think? Because initially from the beginning, you are switching over the system. After 2 years doing IFS, now you will be dissatisfied and you will again switch over. Isn't it?
Sir, firstly, I think about my own ethics, I would say I think ethics is always about the others, because a person comes into play. Ethics comes into play when there are 2 or more people. A person, there cannot be something called personal ethics, because I think it is always about a give and take mechanism in our society. Anyway, and about my changing interests, I think
and
Since
ethics will be changed.
I think,
As you said that your first preference is IFS,
yes sir.
and suppose you will be given IRS or IPS, then your ethics will be changed. Then you will means you will try again for IFS.
Sir, I don't think that the ethical aspect would change, because each service has its own importance, and they have equal importance. Since I was given a choice for my service preference, I would prefer it to be in IFS. But if I am given any other service, I will equally try to do my own duty. My ethics deals with doing my own duty, so I think I would equally do my duty in any of the service I am allowed to do.
What is overseas citizens?
Sir, overseas citizens of India are generally the people who have been away from India for a long time, and they are granted a kind of a differentiated citizenship, because they have some equal rights as a citizen, but there are some rights which are not there for the overseas citizens. Because, for example, buying a land, or there are other provisions also that I can't recall right now, but there are some restrictions on them as a citizen, but they generally reside outside India.
Outside India.
Yes.
Who are NRI?
So NRIs are the full citizens of India, but they also reside outside India, but they are present outside India for more than anybody who is present outside India for more than 6 months. I think they are called as NRIs. But the OCIs do have different aspect, because their passports are also different. They are granted not a passport of not a passport of an average citizen, but a overseas citizen of India card.
In 2003,
Yes, sir.
dual citizenship concept was introduced in us in citizenship aspect. However, our constitution provides you a single citizenship in India and outside India. Even our passport act says that if you will acquire the passport of another country, your Indian passport and your document shall have to be surrendered.
Yes.
But what is dual citizenship? In 2003, first time it was introduced, and after that PIO card, overseas card was introduced, and 2016 again they were merged. Then what is the basic objective to bringing this type of mechanism? Government of India had tried to achieve some objective by these type of mechanism. What was that?
I think sorry sir, I beg to differ, but I think it would not be technically called as dual citizenship, because we still follow a single citizenship. There has been a constant demand from the outside communities who want dual citizenship for India and their own country of residence. But since there were huge demands, so Government of India provided a mechanism through which the outside people could have a better ease of coming into India or doing some business activities inside India. So they were the people who were called the Overseas Citizens of India, OCI, or the PIOs, Persons of Indian Origin. So at a later point, it was realized that the PIOs and OCIs could be merged into a single entity, that is, they are collectively now called as OCIs. So the mechanism was because these people do have an origin from India, and they have a greater inclination for India as compared to other foreign nationals. So I think it has been a good mechanism to give them a better ease of coming into India or doing some activities in India as compared to the foreign nationals.
Okay. Final question.
Yes.
Do you think that India's relation with Pakistan and our policy towards Pakistan is correct? And Punch Se, what was the base of our foreign policy, should be given more respect in terms of our neighboring countries. And the relation maintained by India with other nations outside this sphere
Yes, sir.
will help us to become a superpower. Three aspects of relation. What is your
So, firstly, I would say regarding Pakistan, our policy has been proactive and realistic, and I think to deal with a country like this, we should try to be more proactive, because there have been the present relations are at a low, but I think these are the strategies to engage more in the future, so that to bring Pakistan on the table to negotiate or to talk bilaterally. This is the mechanism through which we can deal with this country. So regarding the neighboring states and the Panchsheel policy is concerned, I think we have adhered to our policy. We respect the peaceful coexistence of all nations. We do give budgetary support to Bhutan and Nepal. We are also building many infrastructure projects with our eastern neighbors like Bangladesh and Myanmar. With Sri Lanka also we are giving many investments, and even in Maldives as well. So I think we are leading the whole South Asia and our neighbors, and it is not about the domination of India, but it is about peaceful coexistence of all the nations. Being a central country and being a bigger country as compared to our nations, as compared to our neighbors, I think we have a responsibility of giving some unilateral aids also, and I think we are doing it fine.
I will not ask you anything about your optional subject. What do you understand by Advait philosophy?
Sir, Advait was a philosophy which was given by Adi Shankaracharya.
Yes.
And it basically literally translates to non-dual. So Adi Shankaracharya believes that everything in this universe is just one, and ultimately everything relates to only one reality, that is the Brahman. So that is Advait.
And what did Ramanujacharya say?
Sir, Ramanujacharya said that he differed from Adi Shankaracharya because he gave the philosophy of Vishishta Advaitva. So it was a qualified non-dualism, because what he said was that yes, everything is just one, but it has two parts to it. That is the Chit and Achit. That is the this consciousness and the non-conscious matter. So that is the difference between Ramanujacharya.
And which one do you agree with more?
Sir, I think both philosophies are complete in themselves.
Okay.
And if I have to choose one, so I would say Adi Shankaracharya, because his philosophy contains Ramanuja's philosophy.
Okay.
His philosophy gives 3 levels to the reality, and the second level, which is the practical level of our life, that practical level is the level where Ramanujacharya also talks about. At the ultimate stage, it is all one, but at the practical stage, they are the 2 parts. So, the more comprehensive is Advait Vedanta.
Okay. I think that's about all. No. Well, I give you a feedback. I like the way you entered the room and sat down. That was the right way to do it. Your dress sense was also perfect. That is how you should dress, in a sober manner, and you were comfortable with your dress and all, and your appearance. You had a smiling face and a humble way of answering questions and all, which is also correct. Maybe some people might say you could be a little more, not aggressive, but more, pushing forward your things. But overall, I think you were humble, and that was all right, the way you answered the questions. You were taking your time to think and reply, that was also correct. One should not be too fast in answering questions also sometimes, and should take time to answer. since you are an engineer and all, I found that you were being analytical. You were giving that 1, 2, 3 like that, points like that. So that was a good thing also. That's how it should be done. There was a sense of balance in also the way you were answering. So these are all your, I think they were your plus points. And even when the difficult questions were asked on this side, you got a little flustered to begin with, but you came back. So don't allow you to be flustered at all. Sometimes difficult questions board members would ask. But always keep your demeanor, the smile and everything, and keep answering the way you want. Don't allow it to show on your face at all of anything of this kind. So these are something like they give you feedback, and I tell you how I will rate you, what I think, how many marks you should get. At first they will give you your reviews also.
See, the point that I noticed was that while answering the question, while you know the facts, the figures, everything, it's a little tight. So you need to get a little more free.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. A little more open, not aggressive.
Not aggressive.
Not aggressive, but a little more open, a little more confident. When you speak, a little more loudly and a little more with confidence.
And this Takia Kalam of yours, I think it's become too repetitive.
Okay.
So I am of the opinion, my view on this subject is, my take is, so you could keep changing your stance, because every time you think, you may not be right every time, your thinking may not be appropriate. So I am of the opinion, I may be wrong, I may be right, but this is my opinion, my view on this subject. So I think that little aspect. Yeah, thank you.
Read a little more before the interview. When is the interview likely?
Sir, 17th Feb, first day.
Oh, that's there.
Yeah.
Oh, then you don't have time. Then don't do anything new. Do whatever you do only.
Okay.
Don't do anything new. Just keep it up, keep abreast with the current affairs and all. And since you have taken foreign service, questions on international relations will be asked.
Yes, sir.
Definitely from you. So that just brush up that very clearly. The treaties, the agreements, WTO, UN, Indian policy towards, as you were asking, Pakistan, China, Bangladesh. These things will definitely be asked from you because you have chosen foreign service as your first choice. Personally, I think you did a good interview. My opinion. And with this kind of an interview, you should get up to 60% marks in the interview board if you can handle this way. Because you were able to answer most questions quite well. Somewhere, okay, not as well as you should have, but that doesn't make so much of a difference. No candidate can answer all questions perfectly. But you attempted to answer, you were logical, you were trying your best, and your attitude was right. The important thing is your attitude was right when you were answering the question. So if this kind of way you can answer, you can score up to 60% marks in the interview. That is very clear. Keep this up, keep this style up, and be more conscious about international relations and all these areas. And as he said, a little more confidence. Little more confidence.
Okay.
Not aggression again. There's a difference. Little more confidence in the way you speak and okay.
Keep looking at the mirror and
I think the confidence level is good, or being distracted sometime for some period of time, there were distraction, but you are not deviating from the topic. क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है कि हम जब डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते हैं, कुछ न्यूसेंस होता है तो घबराहट सी आती है, करता है। But while answering, एक बार लगा कि थोड़ा सा चीजें मिस हो रही, but again आपने तुरंत उसे स्कोर किया। जो मैंने पूछा ऑप्शनल पे मैंने किया, because after listening these things, मुझे ये पूरी तरह लग रहा है कि you are perfect, you are complete in your subject, because answering your body language, your things बता देता है कि आपको क्या है, but these things certainly will be the part of your interview. As sir said कि international relation तो आएगा ही पूछेगा। You have to be focused, क्योंकि अभी तो आप 17 को है तो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं, but whatever you have, that should be maintained. And I think only studying the current news, that will be enough. And the command over the subject, as I said, nothing is dual citizenship. है ही नहीं कुछ dual citizenship. It is the overseas citizenship. Dual citizenship होता ही नहीं है कुछ. ना हमारा constitution allow करता है, ना हमारा कानून allow करता है. Now, as you said कि आपने हमें बताया कि I differ with this. Okay.
That was very good.
Very good.
That was very good. And you said that very politely. That was also correct. That is how it should be said. When you differ with the board member, always it should be polite. I beg to differ, but I have a different viewpoint, sir. Yes, I like to put forward something like that. Never become aggressive.
And हम तो कहें चाहेंगे कि आपको हम देखेंगे लिस्ट में नाम आपका होगा?
नहीं होना चाहिए, ये done a good interview.
Because,
मतलब हम तो आप 60 का 60 to 65% स्कोर कर सकते हो इस तरीके से आपका होगा आराम से.
हमारी
This is my
शुभकामनाएं
view.
आपके साथ हैं. All the best.
Clarify में हिमांशु इतनी सी चीज जैसे सबने बताया, I think जो उसकी की है is if you start feeling about whatever you are saying. जो वो missing है ना, it is just you have read about and पढ़ना भी है, that is one thing. But the moment you start feeling about it, कि okay, I understand what I am talking. वो जो सर बोल रहे हैं ना, थोड़ा सा और aggressive, थोड़ा सा और confident, वो push वहाँ से आता है. पढ़ा है, be confident about it, अच्छा पढ़ा है, talk about it, अपने दोस्तों से सर ने बताया जो भी चीजें, and just feel it कि okay, कोरोना वायरस तो ये है, RCEP ये है, feel it कि अगर मैं होता तो क्या करता, and it would make that difference.
Okay, all the best.
Sir, I want to add one question.
Yes, yes.
Regarding my hobbies section, I play the acoustic drums and fusion music is also there. So, any type of questions that you expect?
They do ask questions.
They,
for hobbies.
I would have asked them.
They do questions. Hobbies are asked, and I don't know. Anybody in the board might not be knowing too much about your hobby, so they can't ask very many technical questions. But why is it your hobby? What do you like? Or something more about music? You should be able to answer. General questions on music can follow after that. Some general questions on music, Indian music, Western music, difference between the two, and why rhythm versus harmony and melody. All the things may ask something about ragas. Somebody might ask.
And why you prefer fusion and
why do you prefer fusion music? So they might ask you some general questions around music. So yes, if you have written that hobby, do prepare that. Yes.
उसको म्यूजिक से फिलॉसफी से भी जोड़ सकते हैं.
हाँ.
तो
म्यूजिक में जनरल क्वेश्चन जरूर पूछ सकते हैं, ये बात है आपने देखी. ओके,
Thank you, sir.
बेस्ट ऑफ लक.